Welcome to Conscious Conversations with Maddie Sparkles. This is conversation number 3, and today I am super excited to have Malue Peterson from Denmark. Hi, Malue.
Hi, Maddie. So nice to be here. It's just always such a joy speaking to you.
I feel exactly the same. And
Oh,
today, before we launch into our topic today, we're going to start with an angel prayer. But I guess we should share what the topic is, right, for everyone. So
yes.
today we're going to be talking about serendipity. Serendipity is one of my all-time most favorite topics, and I'm so excited for you to share some of your serendipities because you have some crackers.
Yes, definitely.
So let's start with an angel prayer, and I thought this one seemed really fitting. It's actually called Stay in Tune with All, and it's by Lisa Clayton. Listen and stay in tune with love melodies in your heart each day. Be happy and joyous in listening to your heart with complete gratitude. There are no mountains high enough that you cannot climb, as your faith in our love gives you strong wings to soar. Your connection with and belief in angels changes your life daily, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, as you open your heart to receive divine love and guidance. Rejoice. Love from our angel hearts is coming to you, like a swollen river, overflowing its bank to water your heart seeds, and sow with faithful promise, to provide glorious passageways for your journey on earth. Abundance flows in our river of love and creates a multitude of miracles. Your spirit guides, ascended masters, loved ones in light form, collaborate and communicate with us each day in pure love devotion, sharing a common mission to reveal your soul's song and purpose. Stay in tune with all of us. Stay in your heart light. Stay in your truth. Stay in your divine feminine and magnificent masculine, aligned by your higher self. Miracles evolve naturally when you stay in tune to all, and give gratitude for our guidance, love, and messages. And so it
Oh,
is.
thank you so much. Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
always so uplifting hearing you saying these words. It's always a pleasure. Yes.
Thank you so much, Malu. And actually, I feel like the way you and I met was very serendipitous. Just
Yes.
out of all the people on a course that we were doing in the world, all over the world, like I think there were over 700 or 800 people, and we ended up in this one little small group, and it's been life-changing.
I know it has, and it's such a gift. And I was also thinking about when we were giving those groups where
Hmm.
we had to put in, and I was thinking, what if I meet the wrong people? What if they're not where I am? And I mean, I mean, it couldn't have been better. It's just, you people are just sent from heaven, right? That's how we all feel.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're on this not on the same level, but still, I mean, we all come together in such a harmony. So that's just so joyful.
It's so beautiful. Your eyes are sparkling. Your energy and your aura is always so open and full of love. I just love it.
Oh, thank you. You too.
I wanted to just read. I looked up the meaning of serendipity for anyone that's listening that might not know what it means. Just can't assume. Um, the occurrence and development of events by chance in a happy or beneficial way.
Mhm.
I just love that. And actually, I'm sure you probably feel the same, but I feel like that has guided my whole life. Like serendipity has been happening for me for so many years, probably way before I even knew what serendipity was.
Yes, 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 it has. But actually, more recently, I've just been aware of it more recently. Um,
Hmm.
I know, like you, it's been there all my life. It is all around us all the time. But as more when I get in alignment
Hmm.
and I get this higher vibration, I just
Hmm.
see it more frequently, and I stop and notice it. And I think there's been a lot, but I haven't noticed it until recently, actually. So it's pretty amazing. Actually, I want to tell you about something today. Is that okay?
Yeah, tell
Like
me.
like
Tell
a
us.
cosmic, like a cosmic sign.
Oh,
Which
I love
I was
it.
I was on the beach today,
Uh-huh.
and I looked down, and a grasshopper was on my big toe,
Oh, on your big toe.
and it was green and shiny, so
Oh,
you couldn't overlook it. And I
right.
looked down, and I was like, just did tried to get it off, and it wouldn't
Uh-huh.
go off.
Really?
Yeah, so I was like, okay, this is some kind of sign. What is this? What is this trying to tell me?
Uh-huh.
And I know that the big toe is for progress, going
Mm-hmm.
forward in life. And
Oh,
I looked up what the spiritual meaning of a grasshopper, and
mm-hmm.
that's taking a big leap forward
Oh,
and having the knowing that everything will be all right if you just take that leap. Isn't
yay!
that beautiful?
I
And
love
it was
it.
just,
I
it was
love that.
sitting there, and I really had to put it down and take it down. That's just today. So, and I mean, it's looking for the things that you're not seeing every day. I mean, I've
Mm-hmm.
never seen that before in my big toe, right? So it's like
I don't
it's
think I've
like,
actually ever had an experience with a grasshopper, actually.
oh, no, me neither, not like
Wow.
that. So that was just so beautiful and confirmed me of, okay, I have this thing I'm working on the spiritual path is
Mm-hmm.
actually something that the divine is telling me to just go for it. Everything will be all right.
Absolutely. And I love that you looked up the meaning. I've been doing that a lot recently. Whenever I see an animal or a creature or an insect even that's a little bit out of the ordinary, I love when you look it up. And actually the other evening, I was walking along the street and this rat, I mean, not the most exciting thing for me, but this rat just like scurried across right in front of me. And I kind of went, ah! And then I looked it up and oh, it's completely eluded me exactly what it means. But there was something really cool about the rat. I'm just going to look it up very quickly. And it's funny because in the past, I would have definitely just thought yuck and not thought about it. But because I've been so in the habit of actually whatever animal or creature crosses my path right now, it's just so it means something.
Okay.
I've got it. The rat
Okay.
spiritual meaning. When a rat spirit animal appears to you, don't fear the rat spirit animal because this symbolizes an abundant period that will soon take place.
Oh, wonderful.
I was quite happy about that one.
Yeah, yeah. It ended
Yeah.
good. Yes.
So lovely. And actually, last night, it's been so hot in California, Northern California. Yesterday, I think it was like between 102 and 105 in some places degrees. And when that happens, historically, PG&E, the electric company, turn off the electricity. So there
Mm.
was no warning, but we just suddenly there was a power cut, and we were just sitting in the apartment, and I was like, "Why the Wi-Fi is not working? Is the Wi-Fi working for you?" And Sean said, "No, I think," and then he realized there's a power cut.
Mm.
And I had my laundry in, and so we've got this like big laundry facility, and the all my bedding was in the dryer, and it literally the power stopped like literally a minute before my cycle was finished.
Oh.
So all the stuff was dry, which was amazing. But then we were told that the electricity would come on in 3 hours time, like at 10 o'clock at night. And we were sitting in the apartment, we lit some candles, and we actually started doing our kirtan chanting, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. And Sean never does this with me, but this last night there was nothing else to do, and we just ended up chanting together. And it was really lovely. It was such a lovely experience. And
Mm.
the second we stopped our chant, the lights, the power, everything came back on an hour early. So
Oh,
we
wow.
heard, oh, yeah, we heard cheers from all over. Like everyone had their windows open, and everyone was cheering. And probably that we ended our chanting. That's probably why they were cheering.
Oh no, I'm sure they weren't.
But it was such a wonderful, you kind of take what you want from the meanings from these things. And
Yes,
for me,
exactly.
the divine timing of that was so lovely and perfect.
Yes, yes. It's also, it's you looking at it. I mean, that's what what it gives so much meaning to you, because it
Mm-hmm.
actually comes from your inner voice and your inner communication and connection with divine love that's
Yeah,
trying to tell you something. So it's just beautiful.
I love that. Would you like to
Mm.
share another of your serendipitous
Yes,
stories?
yes, please.
Go on then.
I was actually working on unconditional love
Mm-hmm.
for 2 days, maybe just one day. And then the day after, I was driving home from the beach house and I was falling asleep in the car, and my husband was driving and he woke me up saying, Malou, there was a sign with your name on it. I was like, what? What? And he said, yeah, and it was spelled like my name is spelled with a UE. Usually in Denmark it's spelled with OU. So
Mm.
actually, there isn't a lot of people spelled that way that my name is spelled. So I was like, it had my attention. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, you have to turn the car around. You have to turn the car around. And he turned it around. We went back, and there was this big sign right next to the road saying, Malou, I love you.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
just got goosebumps all over. I mean, how is that possible? It was, and at that moment, because the name was spelled like me, I just
Mhm.
knew it was a message for me. And I just knew, I can't tell you why, but it just was. And that
I
was so
l-
beautiful. And
Absolutely.
the
Hmm.
universe was trying to tell me that you are being loved, unconditional love. That was so beautiful.
I love that. I love that you've been so focused on unconditional love and being love and spreading love, and the fact that you're driving along the road and there's a sign at the side of the road and it's spelt the same way that your name is spelled. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like
It
your
is.
anyone's name, if it said your name and I love you under it,
I know.
that's, I mean, wow. That's so incredible. And you sent us a picture of the signpost, and I wish I could post it on here. Maybe I'll post it in the somewhere connected. I can show people, or you can show people. But that was an absolute cracker. I loved when you shared that.
Yes. And it
Wow.
wasn't even a road that I was, it's a road that I'm driving maybe twice a year. So it's
Oh,
not my usual road, and nobody there knows me. So it's just, I tried not to think any further. It's just, that was a sign for me.
absolutely. And the thing I love about serendipitous events is that they give you that real like you get such a hit. It's so exciting, and it can give you goosebumps, and it just takes your breath away. And when that happens, that's when you know that it's an absolute sign. And it always takes you by surprise, and it never gets old. I mean, there's no way that a serendipitous event like that could happen and you just be like, oh well, hey, look at that.
I
Because
know.
the fact that we're even looking at serendipity and welcoming it means that we are excited about when it happens. So it's not your everyday occurrence, and it is something that's so magical. Well, for me, it's so magical when it happens. Have,
Yes.
have you had any experiences that you can think of with people, meeting people in random places or anything like that?
Oh, yes, a lot. But actually, I met my husband that way. I
Oh,
met him at a party I was not supposed to go to. he,
uh-huh.
he was he was not supposed to go there, but somehow we ended up, and we've been together for the past almost 30 years now. So
Oh,
that was a, I couldn't tell you that. I mean, we were not supposed to be there. So that was
wow.
just the best serendipity in my life, actually.
Or maybe you were supposed to be there.
Yeah, I
Like you both
know.
didn't think, but there was something pushing you. Yeah.
I know, and that's what that's what I've learned later on in life, that
Hmm.
it's not a coincidence when you do something. You feel like you're being pulled, or the energy goes like you really do, you have to do it, and you don't know why, but you do really
Hmm.
have to do it. And I've
Absolutely.
been starting to listen to that more and more, and then you will see these things more and more often. If you're open and you're prepared with your energy, like you're
Hmm.
open, you don't expect anything, but you're just open for miracles every day.
Mm.
And all these signs shows up. That's just so incredible. And it is like you said, you get goosebumps, and you just know this was for me, and it's
Ah,
real.
and do you know what
Yeah.
else? Do you know what else I absolutely love about serendipity is that even when we're talking about it, it totally raises the vibration. And right now, I feel like I'm just in this total magical bubble talking to you about these incredible events, or just the energy of serendipity just makes life seem so magical. And when you're talking about it, like, we just get so excited, and we're both smiling, and I mean, we smile a lot when we see each other anyway, but it's a really special topic that I invite you, listeners, if you're listening, if you have, um, maybe you have always paid attention to this, maybe you've never paid attention to this, but when you actually make an intention, I'm going to welcome in serendipity to my life today, I'm going to welcome it in, then, or welcome it into my life this week or this month, show me, like, or guide me to be where I need to be. And then just watch and see what happens. And you're right, Malue, when you said, there was no attachment, we didn't have any expectations. It's just being present, and sometimes, when our human mind or our ego says, no, don't go that way, go this way, or don't go to this party, I don't want to go to this party, somehow we end up going that way or doing it anyway. And I think that's the piece, that sometimes we're just taken there beyond our understanding.
Yes, and actually the biggest epiphanies for me is when I'm aware, and my vibration is high, and I'm expecting in some way, in a calm way, expecting miracles, but not being attached to how it's going to unfold or anything. And I just have a non-resistance. I mean, just let it go. Just let it go in the universe, and let the universe show me. And that's going to be like with the sign. I was even asleep, and my husband has to wake me up. I mean, that is not looking for it.
Oh,
That is looking for it in your energy, but not with your mind and your ego, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that he told you about it and you were like, let's go back, I need to see. I would have been exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's
And
just,
usually he's not the one who usually he would say, no, we're just gonna go home now,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But he was on it. He knew something special was happening.
Absolutely. And that, I think that's what happens as well. It's the same with my partner. He's not naturally inclined to look at everything. I mean, he's very spiritual in his own way. It's a different way from me, but he wouldn't necessarily say, oh, let's turn back, or let's go and go back and take a photo of that.
No.
But I think as we talk about it, and as they see how excited we are, they're tuning in as well, even if it's subconsciously, they get it, because the energy is so big around this topic, and just about the way we're living our life spiritually, that how can you not feel that and participate in it when it happens? It brings so much joy, you know?
Yes.
Wow. Well, there's a couple of stories that I absolutely love about my life, and that some of the people that I've met. I was living in London at the time, and I was on the tube. I was on the tube on the underground, and there's like two rows, you're sitting opposite people, strangers, and I noticed this lady reading this book, and she was really into it, and she kind of had it held up quite high, so I was like bending down and trying to read what the cover of her book was, because I thought, ooh. And whenever I notice certain books that people are reading, I usually write them down, because there's a reason why I've noticed that book. So I think that book was called The 4-Hour Work Week. And I actually ended up buying it, because the whole concept of working smart, not hard, was just really appealing. And anyway, so I just noticed this book, and the woman actually saw me trying to read her book. She went, oh, do you want to see this book? So she lifted up the cover so I could see it, and then she handed it to me. And in London on the tube, I don't think it was rush hour, but it was very busy. That doesn't always happen. But so she handed me the book, and I was like, thank you so much. And I wrote it down. Anyway, 3 weeks later, I'm in a different part of London. Like, I mean, I was on the tube there, so I could have been anywhere, but I was in North London 3 weeks later, a different part of London from even where I was living. And I was on the bus, which I hardly ever took in London. And this woman walks onto the bus, like the same woman that I'd seen on the tube. And she walked onto the bus, and as she walked on, I was sitting at the back so I could see her. And I was like, "Excuse me," like I felt the words coming out of my mouth before I could even stop myself. I was like, "Excuse me, hello, are you the lady that I saw on the tube like 3 weeks ago?" And she said, "Yes." So she
Oh,
came up and sat beside me, and we got talking, and we kept in touch, and we're still very good friends today. But you know, the funny thing is, I remember at the time on the tube thinking, "Oh, I'd love to have spoken to this lady. I'd like to have known more about her
mm.
because she just looked really interesting." So, isn't that amazing?
Yes, it's amazing. But you also, Maddie, what's so special about you is that you show up and you do the work, and the work is actually to speak up and not be shy of taking that connection.
Thank you. Thank you
Right?
for acknowledging that.
That is actually very inspiring because
Mm,
I could be the person that was like, oh, isn't that she the lady? But you have the courage and you
mm.
have the going forward and the drive, and no, I mean, it's so natural for you, and that's very inspiring.
I was going to say, actually, I don't even think of it as courage at all. Although, to be sensitive to other people who are more maybe shyer, that would seem like, wow, you had such courage to do that. But for me, you're right. It comes out of me automatically. I almost have to stop myself and pull myself back to not do it.
Yeah,
So if I see something like that, I just, it's almost like everyone else in the bus wasn't there.
yeah,
I had to let her know that I'd seen her, because
yeah,
she could easily have got on, sat down, and got off, and we would never have spoken, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So that was really special because we're really good friends still today, even though she's in London and I'm here in California. Another story that I remember, I mean, I've got a few really unbelievable, well, it sounds unbelievable, but they are believable, I suppose. Um, I was in Australia and I was doing the Bondi to Bronte run. And I don't really run ever, but when I was living in Sydney at that time of my life, I used to jog. I used to jog along this beautiful scenic path along the beach, along the coast. And as I was walking along this part of it. I must have slowed down because I'm not that fit. and and this girl, or this I wouldn't even call her a woman, an old friend from Glasgow, walked past me in that moment, and I was like, "Charlene, is that
In
you?"
Australia?
And she was like, "Maddie," and we just out the blue in the middle of nowhere, we walked past each other on that Bondi to Bronte path, or that run, and I
All the
still,
places, yeah, of all
yeah,
the places, all the minutes and seconds that could have gone wrong, but it didn't.
that's the bit that I always get excited about as well. Like the timing of it. Like I could, if I'd, been a minute or maybe 2 minutes, I don't know, faster, or hadn't started my run that day or at that time. It's the split moment that these things happen.
Yes, yes. Oh,
It's
I
just
know, it's wonderful.
It's so, and even today, when I was in a Zoom call recently that she was on, and every time I think of her now or see her face, even though this happened over 20 years ago, that's the moment I just think we were on the same path at the
Mhm.
same time in a totally different country across the world, walking past each other at a random moment in a day. And how did that even happen?
Yes.
So I love that.
Yeah, I love it too. I love it with people, actually.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have a lot of, that's just not was first on my
Yes.
list,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, you always get that with
Yes.
people because, I mean, that's the living things and that's what you're recognizing, right?
And
So,
sometimes I have thought to myself, what's the meaning behind this, or what does it mean? And sometimes I've realized that it doesn't even have to mean anything. It's the exciting feeling that gave you that pick me up in that moment. Maybe that was all it was, or maybe it was just to renew or to um, rejuvenate your faith in the
exactly.
universe. It's like
Exactly.
we're still here. This is still happening. You never know when it's going to happen next. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. That it's when you see. So I was working on abundance the other day. I
On
was
what?
doing this abundance.
Oh, uh-huh.
I was listening to this wonderful with Abraham Hicks. This
Mm,
wonderful. Yeah, does a lot on YouTube.
uh-huh.
And I was really working. I was really feeling it. When you feel it down to the bone. I was
Oh,
driving to the beach, and out of my eye, I just saw some very, very nice bed things that was put out on the street with a sign that says free. You can have
ah,
it. I'm like, wow. And I mean, I didn't want the beds or anything. It was just a sign from the universe that there's abundance all over. Somebody would be
Oh,
so happy for those beds, right?
oh, I love
I mean,
that.
I get goosebumps just talking about it.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
absolutely love that.
yeah,
Just, yeah. There's so much magic. This is why I'm so about living magically, because when you tune into this, when you direct your attention and your focus to whatever it is, love, deep love, gratitude, abundance, and then you let it go, but you just feel good. And then maybe you look up something like from Abraham talking about abundance. And it makes so much sense that that would be in your line of, or in your frequency, that these things would show up. It's just,
mhm.
I think when we start trying to make sense of it, like, how could that really be? How could that be? We can't make sense of it. So,
Well,
but there's,
actually, yeah, I'm sorry.
no, go on, that's it.
It's just because when you start asking those questions, you lower your vibe.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks for naming that. Absolutely. No, it's, I could talk about this all day long,
yeah,
and maybe we'll continue later. In fact, I'd love to talk to you again. Maybe we can have another conscious conversation.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah, because there's so much to talk about, and I'm finding that the conversations we're having, it's like you just can't help but smile. Like it brings so much joy and happiness, and I am so grateful to have you in my life, Malu. I'm really
Oh,
grateful.
oh, me too, Maddie. You're such an inspiration. Thank you so
Oh,
much for your energy and what you put out on everything you go onto, like Facebook or anything. You put out love and hope and yeah, inspiration for everyone. That's so beautiful. Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
so much. I feel very similar about you. Like you're just the embodiment of love. You're this
Oh,
love goddess. It's just incredible. Oh, before we go, let's choose a card, and you can decide. You can choose it. You can decide whether it's an angel card or a goddess card today, and we'll just see which one comes up, and then that will basically what we can walk away with, and just see what comes up for us today, and for all of you that are listening. So what will it be, angel or goddess? What do you
oh,
think?
goddess. I'm in the goddess mood.
You're in the goddess mood. I love it. Okay, let's see. Okay. Gosh, there's so many that all want to jump out at the one time. That shows how much of a goddess you are.
Oh, thank you. I love that.
Oh, this one has jumped out. Cordelia. She's saying go outside.
The color purple. Love it.
She's saying go outside. She's saying you have been indoors too long. Corona. Go outside and get some fresh air. So I
Oh,
really love that.
oh, I know what that means. Thank you so much.
You know what that
Oh,
means to you.
I know what it means to me. Thank you
Good.
so much.
Oh, Malu, I look forward to talking to you again, and thank you so much for being my guest today on our series of conscious conversations.
Thank you so much, Maddie. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.